That Archie, I was able to talk to him a little bit. He said that it's good that his main goal is to get these quarterbacks and meet each other, and it's just pretty cool that now I'll be able to watch the season and keep in touch with those guys and wish them luck throughout the season.
You know what happened with Johnny?
Not entirely. I know he was sick a little bit and couldn't attend some of the meetings and the practices, and it was just better for him to leave.
How much do you get a chance to watch other guys throw, or are you trying to just stay focused on what you're doing when you guys do get a chance to throw at that?
No, I think quarterbacks will observe the other quarterbacks around them. We threw a good bit this past weekend at the passing camp, and got to watch a lot of quarterbacks throw. It was a neat experience.
Who stood out? Any few guys that stood out to you, or it was kind of hard to tell?
I mean, we had like 6 or 7 from the SEC. Jeff Driscoll threw well. Justin Worley from Tennessee impressed me. Tyler Russell, A.J. McCarron. The guy from Miami was my roommate, Stephen Morris. He threw extremely well, so it was pretty cool.
Connor, Bruce Ellington's development as a wide receiver last year.
Yeah.
He really came on mid-year.
Yeah. I think now that he's had 2 years of playing experience under his belt, he's just grown as a player, and I think it's pretty amazing that he's able to do that on football and basketball. He's an amazing athlete.
Connor, you lost some key components like Lattimore,
Right.
TJ, Ace. I mean, what's your sense on how the offense can come together and maybe be as good or better than you've been?
Yeah, I think we always have these high-profile athletes leave to go to the NFL, and we always have guys that step up. And we're going to have some new faces this year, but guys that know how to handle the role and the responsibility. And as center Cody Waldrop is replacing TJ, and he's my roommate. Very intense, high motor guy, the kind of guy that you would like to have on your offensive line. And then you said Ace, we've got a good receiving group coming back that I'm excited about.
There's always some hesitation when someone mentions 2 quarterback system. Why do you think it's going to work this year for you guys?
Yeah, it worked for us last year. You look at it, we complement each other pretty nicely. And Coach Burger, I think, is the best coach, especially when it comes to 2 quarterbacks, because he's won championship with 2 quarterbacks. So we've bought into it, and we're trusting his judgment.
Talk about lineup and receiver. What's your favorite route right now?
I haven't got too far into route running and all that kind of stuff. I've ran 1-on-1s, a little bit of 7-on-7s. Nothing too in depth for now.
Were you able to talk to Peyton?
Yeah,
Could you anything in particular that you found really helpful and pointer-wise?
Well, they brought in the quarterbacks to be counselors, really, as coaches, and me and Peyton actually worked a group together. And I kind of stood back and let him coach the kids, and just learning, hearing what he had to say to the younger guys. I mean, I took pointers from what he was telling from them, and it was pretty cool seeing him throw and teaching the kids. And there was actually a couple of sessions where he, gathered up the quarterbacks, the collegiate quarterbacks, and talked to us. So it was pretty cool.
What did he say to you guys that you found particularly helpful?
Well, he talked a little about the college, the NFL transition, and what we should be focusing on, and how to handle yourself off the field as quarterbacks, and how you should be a leader on the field, and just little things like that.
Did you talk about the big difference in the jump?
Yeah, he said, as coming from, essentially being a man in college and then going to, you're just another fish in the pond, in the NFL. And everybody was the guy in college, and he said that there's a big jump, but there's nothing that you can't adapt to.
How much of this stuff that Spurrier's talking about you lining up at wide receiver and both quarterbacks on the field, how much is reality and how much is him talking?
It's absolute reality. I kind of mentioned it to him, and he was all for it. And we've actually put some schemes together. And Coach Mangus was a part of at Middle Tennessee State. Had 2 quarterbacks, one guy who ran extremely well, one guy who was more of a pocket passer. So it's definitely going to happen.
Well, no doubt the thing we don't really know is as a quarterback, what really sticks out to you that we don't necessarily see in the game days?
I mean, Dylan, wears his emotions on his sleeve pretty much. I mean, there's not much I could tell you that you don't know. He's a great pocket passer. I think people underestimate how good he runs. I think you'll find out more about him the more he plays.
Did you bring that up to Steve? You brought that up, the possibility of you playing running back or receiver?
Well, it was Sort of. I mentioned it that Coach Manning is my quarterback's coach, and then I was going to actually talk to Coach Burry about it, and he mentioned it before me, so it just kind of worked.
Kind of earlier in your career when you were going up against Ellis Johnson's defense in the 4-2-5,
Right.
what was that like? What is it to go up against that defense when you're first experiencing it?
At South Carolina?
Yeah.
You're talking about when Coach Johnson was South Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was obviously he's a great coordinator. We've always had some solid defenses, and it's good to have that going against that every day because you get used to it and experience it before you go on Saturdays and play somewhere else.
What makes it different than a 4-3 for the layman who may not understand the pure difference?
More speed. You have more speed on the field. It's similar, but I mean you have guys working. You have like a spur. You have more hybrid guys on the field. It's just more speed.
How much do you marvel at Bruce Ellington's endurance?
What's that?
How much do you marvel at
Oh
Bruce's
my gosh,
endurance?
it's unbelievable. I've never met a guy that could do that. Go straight from basketball practices and as much as running that they do. And basketball and football is a totally different type of conditioning. I mean,
Right.
But he runs for days in the football field and then goes to basketball practice and does the same. So it's incredible.
Connor, we're reading about Johnny staying out all night partying and not showing up to meetings, and you're saying, oh, he was sick and had to go home. Were you hearing about the party?
Choose my words carefully here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Out partying, I think that's not what you should say. I mean, he wasn't out drinking and partying the way people perceive it to be. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what happened through the night. I just know that he wasn't there the next morning.
It sounds like you were really impacted by the Manning Passing Academy, and a lot of people have been depending on you guys as counselors. Would you see how God would impact guys if you showed up late or called in?
I mean, yeah, you have a great deal of responsibility, and it's a great honor to be there. And you have a group of kids and a little team that you have, and I mean, you are. People are dependent on you. I mean, you are invited to that camp to do that job. It's just unfortunate what happened.
Since 2 years ago, how in particular have you noticed Bruce becoming like a more capable college receiver and not just an athlete playing receiver? What is he doing now that maybe was tougher for him a couple years ago?
Confidence. I think he just has the confidence with him now, and that makes all the difference in the world, believe me. The game time experience and the success he had on the field, I think it just carries over to the off season.
Is he running routes better? Does he have a better?
Yeah, he knows the playbook more. He understands everything. He understands schemes, understands defense. Bruce is a very smart player, and there's a few times last season where he would see a coverage and adjust his route, and most guys wouldn't do that. So he's a very smart player.
Clowney's quick twitch is kind of what sets him apart, isn't it?
No doubt. He is a very agile kind of player. His moves, he's also very powerful. I mean, he's very unpredictable.
He can stop it. It's unpredictable. That's stop and go on a dime. I mean,
He really can, and he just ran a 4.4, 4.5 40. So, I mean, which is unbelievable at 270, and just he's a monster of an athlete.
Sorry to be all schizophrenic here with the questions bouncing back and forth.
Good.
But regarding your foot, how long have you been 100% for?
Yeah, I got the all clear at the end of May, and it was still lingering and bothering me a little bit, after the workouts, just because I haven't done it. But I'm all good now. I'm still going to the treatment and rehab, just more preventative than anything. And so it's been good, competing and sweating it out with the guys back on the field.
So you've been able to do all of the 7-on-7 stuff?
I have, yep. I've organized the 7-on-7s through the summer and the 1-on-1s and all the drills, and I haven't been limited to anything.
Did you go to the Manning camp?
I did.
Did you throw there and do all that or not?